Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Yay!
I'm $100 Bill.
Yeah, you are. I'm Pete the Rookie, Class 5.
I'm Naomi the Dealmaker.
Class 1.
Work your way up.
That's right.
Well, you know, I realized after he said that the other day, because we were in the house and we were doing a live stream on Facebook, I realized, you know, maybe Peter's got a little bit of a thing going on here because he's been trying to be the rookie. I mean, he's been trying to get an apprenticeship program, and then you come along in a couple months, you make it to Dealmaker. So he's like probably like got a problem with that. I was thinking, I should have probably talked to him about that before we did that, huh? Uh-oh, look. Look at the wheels spinning. Woo!
We have the most interesting conversations live on the air.
Yeah.
We're on the air?
The listeners must be fascinated with our social dynamics.
Yeah.
Wait
a minute. You should put that mic next to your mouth there.
Well, I was...
Wait a minute. Did you hear what she said, Peter?
She said social.
Our social dynamic. Do you have? I didn't think I had one of those.
Oh, we have social dynamics.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Oh. My wife's away working, so it seems like the only thing I do these days is work.
This is your social dynamic.
This is my social dynamic.
This is it.
This is relaxing for me to come onto the radio show or the podcast and talk for a little while.
Be able to work sitting down instead of standing up, walking around lecturing.
Yeah. Emma's got my phone. I don't have to worry about the support tickets and the Facebook messages and the deals and oh my goodness. All right, so stop messing around. Episode number 81. Here we go. People who listen to this podcast will end up with money.
That's everybody out there.
What do you think?
Keep listening.
Well, let's see. You are, I am, you are, so they will.
Okay.
And are.
All right. Do you know what he just said? Because I do.
You're making.
Why not?
Explain them. Explain them.
You know, a bad analogy, but you...
A bad analogy.
Wait a minute, mine or yours?
Yours was good. Mine is bad,
Yours
but
is
it
gonna
might
be
get
bad.
the point across a little bit better. You lay down with a dog that has fleas, you're going to get fleas.
Uh-oh.
Now,
Fleas, Pete.
Yeah, well, try this one. Follow the money.
There you go.
You are who you're around. You are who you listen to.
Right.
So if people keep listening to those podcasts, it's going to sink in.
Right.
You know, I've been giving people advice for a few months, mostly my music students or just people I run into.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've been doing this my whole life.
Where?
This side.
That side of your head?
This side over
Okay.
here. The side you're not seeing.
Okay.
The big lump here. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I
Good.
see it.
No, this is true, though. If you want to be successful, at least read books by successful people.
Right.
I've been doing it my whole life. Lately, it's been more business and money and real estate, but I've done other things, music, relationships, life, whatever you need. Somebody will say, I want to grow up to be a famous pro basketball player. I said, that's good. Read Michael Jordan's book. And they look at me.
Right.
Read Michael Jordan's book. Why? Read the book and you'll figure it out. And then read Shaquille's book. You know, just read books by successful
You become
people.
who you're. You know, we actually talked about this in depth last week. Where were you, Pete?
Last week? Was I here last week?
I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you. I think it's,
I have
repetition
I have
is
one
good.
week. I have 1 week
Repetition
memory
is good.
loss. This is for the people who weren't listening last
That's
week.
right.
All right.
That's
Naomi has officially arrived. She's in with the boys crushing stones.
Ouch! Boom.
Go ahead, you were saying?
I was saying.
Just keep going. You're on a roll.
I was
just
saying.
keep going.
I was just, we were talking about it in depth last week, but the refresher is good.
All right, so the on Facebook we write a description of what the show is about, so I'm going to read that so we know what we're talking about today.
Oh, good. Focus.
Yeah, so the name of the name of the podcast is People Who Listen to This Podcast Will End Up with Money. The definition of success is doing the things that worked. Listen to this podcast to learn what it took me, Bill, and my team 14 years to learn. Then use those successes to make money yourself. For $100, no risk, and no surprises.
We're going to talk about that
Yes,
on this free podcast.
right. You want to start?
I was
You have
I was thinking
reservations?
about starting first by maybe
You don't want to let the cat out the bag?
sorta.
Oh.
I mean, this is sort of a valuable thing that, I mean, maybe people should be. We should have a register first.
A cash register?
This is like some serious stuff
Uh-huh.
that
Why
we're
is
just
that?
going to talk about.
Why is that?
They're giving it away at Crazy Bills.
14 years of research, 14 years of development, and what works and what doesn't work.
Mhm.
And we're just going to talk about it?
Right. Naomi just
Lucky-
left the room.
Lucky for the listeners.
Yeah, but I think you very lightly use the words research and development,
Yes.
because I'd like to define what research and development is in my world. Writing checks for mistakes, dealing with the bullshit from the mistakes,
Yeah.
dealing with all the crap that happens because either myself or my acquisition manager or my personal assistant or my seller or my buyer or the attorney or the title person or the, you get it? There's so many
Yeah.
people involved, and
Yeah.
it's inevitable that somebody is going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because what I realized, and this is probably as profound as I'm going to go today,
Mm-hmm.
most people, like I wish I knew the number, a very large amount of people, okay, are on ether. They're not in present time.
Right. Right.
They're like in a coma.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention.
They're going on autopilot.
Yeah.
They wake up, get coffee, do their thing,
Right.
go to work.
It's like they're on anesthesia.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just don't really pay attention to their environment.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of automatically just doing things because they are. You
Yeah.
know, their attention is not on what they're doing. It's somewhere else, which
Yeah.
means when I say not in present time, that means that you're working and you're thinking about the beach.
Yes. Yes.
That's not in present time.
Yes.
Or you're working and you're thinking about your vacation last year. So
Mhm.
you're in last year, you're not in today.
Actually, I find that most people, it would be good if people were thinking about the beach or the vacation.
Right.
Most people are living in fear, and that's
Yeah.
70% of the society.
Right.
Currently, talking about social dynamics here.
Right.
70% live in fear.
Yeah, they're thinking about last time the machine broke, and what if it breaks?
Right. And what if
What's
the
gonna
shoe
happen
drops?
if?
If you're
The union's
focusing on the
coming
shoe
tomorrow.
dropping, the shoe's going to drop.
Right.
And it's kind of like when you're driving down the road, and say you're driving fast, and you have a difficult turn coming up. And if you focus at the end of that turn, it's just as smooth as butter. But if you're focusing on the turn while you're making the turn, you run into issues.
Right.
And that's the way everything is. And so if people are focusing on what can go wrong, that's going to... You used an example yesterday evening at the... where focus...
where your focus
Oh,
goes,
where your
energy-
attention, your
that's my
attention goes.
saying.
Yeah.
Where your attention goes,
Right,
energies flow, results show.
right. And that works both ways.
Can you go grab me the folder I had at the meetup last night, please? There's something in there I would like to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. So
Mhm.
where attention goes, energies flow,
Yeah,
results show.
right.
And what I was talking about is that if you put your attention on debt,
Yeah.
like how am I going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, sweetheart. How am I going to pay my bills? Right.
You're
And
good.
and I have all this money trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What are you going to get?
You're going to get bills.
More
And money trouble.
Right.
Yeah,
More problems.
yeah,
Right. So
Yeah.
if you're constantly thinking about your problems, which is hard to do, and now let's just say it's 3 weeks into the month,
mm-hmm.
and you owe $1,200 for your mortgage, and you're not working, and you don't have any money.
Yeah.
What are you going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking?
Money.
Where am I going to sleep next week? Because I'm
Right.
not going to pay my rent,
Yeah,
and it's going to be money, money, money. Right.
yeah.
I'm going to tell you how I learned this. just that way, because I would wake up in the middle of the night freaked, and just wake up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
and just couldn't go back to sleep. And it was interesting because for some reason one night I just turned on the TV,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I turned it down very low, right, so I could barely hear it, and then I rolled over so I couldn't watch it. And about 5 minutes later, I fell asleep. And I woke up in the morning and thought, wow, it's like I tricked my own mind.
Yeah.
It's like my attention, and I call them units, attention units, because there's no way to count them. So my attention units went on the TV, and it made me stop thinking about the problem.
Right.
And then it just occurred to me that we're always looking at mental image pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever pictures we're looking at is what our environment is. Right?
Yeah.
So let's get out of the profound. Peter's not talking.
He's
I don't want to make it any worse.
He's absorbing.
So how do you handle this? How do you get out of this muck? This
The
is the
funk.
quicksand. This is the quicksand. How do you get out of the quicksand?
I can tell you what I
divert your energy. Or sorry
Yeah.
to.
Well, I can tell you what I did day before yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of stuff hit. I have some repairs in the condo. I got 2 renovations I'm working on with you and trying to do as much of that as I can because you're pretty busy. And then some other things are going on. And I get this. I never get tension headaches, but there was this weird, wow, that doesn't feel good. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took everything I needed to do. I made every phone call, every text, every email, everything I had to do as fast as I could do it, and I just slammed it out. And by 2 o'clock, I was done. I sat down.
You felt a lot better.
Yeah. It was just work, and it was just not even I wasn't worried about it, but just so much it just piled up.
Right.
I just attacked all of it. I
Right.
didn't worry about what was happening. I just did that and that. I wrote them all down. Bang, it was
Right.
done.
But I'll bet before you started, whether you realized it or not, that you had in your mind a idea of all of that work being completed.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you realized it or not.
Oh no, I did it on purpose. I said I'm just going to slam all these done.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. You're like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a question.
It's easier to do it than just have it all in your head. Well, I got to do that, and if I don't do that, she'll call and have to call the guy. Shut up and call.
Right. Exactly.
Get the work done, and then you're done. You're really worrying about not doing it.
Right. And so
You're really worrying about it.
Right. So you had in your idea, just do it.
Yeah.
So the whole point that I'm trying to make is when people are in this muck, and rather than focusing on the shoe dropping or something bad happening, first of all, to focus on how it should be. So like you focused on everything being done, and then you did it.
Yep.
So when you do that, when you focus on how everything should be, and then you apply action, the action turns out correctly. Whereas if you are wondering where the shoe is going to drop, even though you're doing action, sometimes the shoe does drop. So it's a combined thing. Am I losing anybody?
You're good. I'm just listening.
Okay. All right. So it's a combined thing of, first of all, thinking about, okay, things are really bad right now, and what would be good, and then having that image in your mind, and then applying massive action, but holding that picture in your mind. And you know where I learned this? The first time I learned this was I used to compete athletically, and my coach taught it to us.
Right.
So there's a lot of science behind this.
Right.
High-level athletes use this in thinking ahead of time. They rehearse the game in their mind, and they rehearse winning.
Yep.
And then they apply massive action. But because they have that in their mind, the action follows suit.
Right.
Now, if they were thinking, oh, gosh, maybe I might trip and
You know
hurt
what's a
my
great
knee.
book for that?
Yeah.
You know what's a great book for that? Maybe
What?
Emma could find it. I don't know who the author is. It's called Cybernetics.
Psychocybernetics.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an interesting book about
Yes.
that concept. Think and Grow Rich is like that too.
Yeah.
He talks about that quite a bit.
One of the last books I read had a little different twist on it, because I can't remember which one it was. The point was, what you're worrying about isn't happening now. It isn't now.
Right.
It's you're worried about something that would or could happen. You're worrying about the future. Your anxiety is about what might happen. And you spend so much time looking at tomorrow, next week, and next month, it paralyzes you. You can't do anything about
You know
next
what-
month.
Right.
know
It
what
more
you-
than paralyzes you.
You know what the definition of anxiety is?
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. What I'm saying about what's the concise?
So anxiety is that you're not sure of the future.
Right.
You're uncertain of the future, and you're worried about it.
Right. So what do you do about that? The book said, do something now.
Right.
So, and I've seen other people do this, and that's what I did the other day. It's just, well, nothing's happening. You look around, nothing's bad right now. So let's just get to work on it.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done, it was done. And now, and you take care of the future by handling today.
Right, exactly.
Interesting thing what you guys are talking about. The only thing that keeps running through my mind is, you know what makes you tired? You know how sometimes you're just really tired?
Yes.
Yeah. That's non-compliance. Think of it as an executive that has, like, say, 4 employees, and they don't do something. They don't comply with their orders, we'll say.
Yeah.
Okay? Then the boss starts to think, oh my goodness, this one didn't do that, and that one didn't do this, and this one did. Now I got to go do all that. And just the pure thought that he has to go do that work makes him mentally tired.
And there's a failure aspect to that, too.
Yes.
They fail to do it. You
Yes.
fail to get it done.
So
There's
it's
failure in there.
non-compliance. So what happens?
Frustration.
What happens in an individual is, okay. What happens is I thought Emma had something. What happens with an individual is they have these goals, like what you're saying. They're not thinking about what it's like to get through the turn or
Right.
the curve, and they're thinking, oh man. First of all, anxiety lays in because they're like, oh, I don't know what I need to do. What's going to happen? The other shoe's going to drop. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. Like I don't have any money, and if I get involved in this deal, oh my goodness, how am I going to get out of it? Because I don't have money to write checks to get out of it,
Right.
right? Or like what Peter was saying last night, what are the steps? You don't know what the steps. First of all, you don't know there's 10 steps, or if you know there are 10 steps, what are the exact steps? How do I go through them? See,
Yeah.
so all those concerns are in your head, and it's mental mass.
Yeah.
It's like energy is attached to those. Just like you think to yourself, oh, I have bills I have to pay. How am I going to pay the bills? 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 What are you going to get in your environment? What is your environment going to be?
Build problems.
How am I going to pay the bills?
Right.
Because that's what you're thinking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But here's I think the punchline to the conversation. I did
Punchline.
the punchline. I did
Wrap it up, Bill.
Yeah, I
Bring
did
it home.
Yeah, I did a year ago. Actually, it's been a year. Holy cow! I did a seminar at the meetup, and it was called "Successes for Losers."
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, it's right after New Year's.
Yeah. and we talked about that last week.
Oh,
actually.
goals.
Yeah.
Goals are
Oh,
for
I'm
losers.
sorry.
Goals are for
goals
loser.
are for losers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What
was
are
gonna
your
say
goals this year? Well, I want
Right.
to lose 5 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
So the seminar summit.
Come
you have
on,
to
get
be
better
careful.
goals, damn it. I need New Year's to come up with that one, or to go on vacation. Come up with something good.
Till we're
So
hit.
real estate people will be like, I want to buy 2 houses, or I want to make $30,000. I want to do this. I want to do that. I've done it myself. It's like, oh, by the time we get to March, I want to make $50,000. Okay. So first thing, I want to come back to that because we talked about this last night too. I want to come back to the goal setting.
Uh-huh.
But the first real problem is that they don't know how many steps or the sequence, or they haven't quite worked out at least an outline. Now, I'm not talking about every little detail and all the tasks, because those are for the paralysis of analysis people, okay? Because they're trying to figure it out before they could do it, right? We talked about that
Yeah.
too. It's like be, do, have. If you're trying to have before you can do, then it's backwards, because it's be, do, have.
Exactly.
Right, you have to be who you are to do what you're doing to have what you get, which is really where the saying comes from: where attention goes, results show. I'm sorry, where attention goes, energies flow, results show. It's be, do, have.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It connects to that. Cool.
yeah. So be is where your attention goes. That's you being you. Where's your
Yeah.
attention go?
It's just you're thinking, I want to do this. That's what are you going to be?
Right.
Okay.
Energies flow is the doingness, or how do you do things. It's the motion in the physical universe. Right. And results show is the havingness. Right. I mean, it's a common basic law. I didn't make this up. This is not my.
That goes
this
back
is
to
not my
Indian.
stuff.
That's Indian philosophy.
This goes
Be,
back
do,
hundreds
have,
of years.
start,
Yeah.
change,
Yeah.
Right.
complete,
Yeah.
Stop.
Start, change, stop. Yeah.
which is
Right.
complete.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't stop until you complete.
Yeah. So what happens is you start. Let's just what you're talking about. So you got start, change, complete. Right. So somebody will start by saying, I have this goal, and then they'll start going at it. And when they're doing the change or they're doing the action, they get lost. It's like what Naomi's saying is you start going around the corner and you start thinking, wait a minute, am I supposed to be pulling on the wheel this way, or am I supposed to be doing this? And maybe the tires don't have enough air, and am I going too fast? And maybe I should put my foot on the brake, and oh my God, there might be ice over there, or you know what I mean? All these things start running through your head, and none of it's real.
Right.
It's just
right.
your ideas of what could happen because you have anxiety. You're worried about the future,
Right.
and how it's going to turn out. So your mind is trying to protect you from making a mistake and getting hurt.
And in effect, you get hurt.
Right.
Because your focus is on getting
Where
hurt.
attention goes, energy flow,
flows.
results show. So if you have
Exactly.
attention on getting hurt, you'll get hurt.
Exactly.
Hey, I got one for you.
And it's a bizarre paradox that took me, a long time to learn. And even in high school, when my coach taught our team that, it didn't quite.
Come on,
sink-
Naomi.
It didn't.
Come
quite
on,
sink
Naomi.
home.
You got us in suspense.
Bill,
what
let's
sport?
guess. Come on, Bill, let's guess.
What sport?
Bill, let's guess.
I'm going to say volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball.
Yes.
Really? You're nailed.
Yes, that's correct.
It was either that or track.
That's correct. And I will tell you that coach was absolutely correct because we dominated a 3-state region. I remember teams on the other side on their knees in front of their coach, tears streaming down their cheeks. I'm not even making this up.
You made the little girls cry?
That they didn't have to play us.
Oh.
So it works.
So
I'm glad she's on our team.
yeah. So that means they were mean too.
We were actually real nice. It's just that
Cocky.
we were so cocky. We got onto the court and we were like,
Confidence up the yin yang.
Yeah.
Hey, here's one about future. People worry about future. You know how to predict the future?
create the future.
Hmm?
Create the future.
Did you read the same book?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a reader, man.
Yeah. No, you worry about the future, what's going to happen. Well, whatever happens is what you create. So just
Exactly.
make it happen.
So that's the
Duh.
thing. That's the thing of keeping in your mind what you want and then accepting it. Accept that it can happen.
Right.
Because many people, they think, oh gosh, wouldn't it be nice if this could happen? Wouldn't it be nice if that could happen?
Right.
But they don't accept it. They block it like, well, that's for somebody else.
I can't have
Poor
that.
me. I'm such a martyr.
I don't deserve that.
I don't deserve it.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
you
that.
do. If you have the thought in your mind, and if it's not hurting somebody else,
And
you
it's-
deserve
and
it.
it's ethical.
and it's ethical and it's legal, you deserve it.
And if you still don't believe it, go down and help at the soup kitchen, down at the charity. Go help out
Then,
for a while.
then maybe
you'll feel you deserve it.
worthy.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Go
I
help
do
out
it.
for a while.
I do it.
Yeah,
I do.
Absolutely.
I help a lot, and then I feel better.
Absolutely.
So how do you get out of the quicksand? So you're in this funk, you're in the middle of the turn. We're going to keep using your analogy, and the car, you think the car's going to slip because there might be ice, and which way? How do you get out of that? And I think you guys hit upon it earlier. My most successful action is to read.
Yeah.
And the reason why I read is because I'm able to get other people's opinions and points of view on what they did and what I'm trying to do.
And that they can do it. They
Yes.
did do it.
That's
not-
huge.
You have to be careful, though. Not everything you read is 100% correct because, people do some strange things and realize that books are made to be sold. So there's a marketing aspect to that, right? How do I know that? Because I've written 6 books, okay? So, yeah. So, I just know that. But you can cull through the data and you can, and the amazing thing about information is you can decide which one you want to keep, which one you don't want to keep. And the way you do that is just test it. So if somebody has a concept, even if you just go to work and say, hey, I was reading this book and this guy said blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? Or even do what you guys saying if you actually had the balls to do it, to just do it.
Well, we have to try things.
Well,
you got to have I ever seen this? I mean, does this work? Have I ever seen anybody do this? Like you asked questions at the meetup we had last night. Anybody seen this ever happen? Yeah, I have seen it. Well, if you've seen it, you've seen it.
Right.
It's not something in a book. It's real. You have to look around the real world. Does it happen?
Well, what's
Right.
the choice that you have? What's really the choice you have? You have whatever you're thinking in your mind, right? Which is, we'll say, is A, right? And then the guy in the book is talking about F. So it's one or the other. I mean, really, what choice do you have? Unless you go find more data. But it's like, okay, well, what I'm thinking isn't working because look where I am. So maybe I should at least I should enter into my universe that maybe F could do something, because where I am, I'm not happy with.
Right.
So whatever ideas or thoughts or point of view or whatever it is that you have isn't getting you what you want. So what other choice do you have? You have to change something.
But Bill, why is it that a lot of people, and I've seen them, that are not doing well and are not happy with it, refuse to listen to the guy who's doing well?
Right.
They just refuse.
Right.
No, I do it my way, or it's not. I don't like that way. It wouldn't work for.
I think
What
I
the heck
might
is that?
be
Jeez.
able to answer
Well,
that.
there's no good answer because it's just dumb. Sorry, but go ahead.
But
the
I
answer,
think
it's
that
dumb.
once
That's
That's the answer.
well,
it's dumb.
It really is.
You're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
there's no
I think
excuse
it's
for
we all do it.
I think it's possibly deeper than that, because once you realize that you can do something about it, it does make you responsible, and you're no longer able to be the victim. And I think more people are scared of their own ability and procrastinating, and because once you realize that you can do something, that means you have to do something, and for some people that's
So
very
you have to
scary.
make a decision then. You could make a decision to be cause,
Yeah,
or you could make the decision to be effect.
right,
And you are both. I mean, like, I was just the effect of your communication, but now I'm cause over it,
right,
right? I mean, everybody, I should say everybody, a lot of people have relationships. I know I do. And there's a lot of times where I have to just be the effect of my wife's whatever.
right,
You know, I want steak, or I want pasta, she wants steak.
right,
yes, dear.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes you just have to. It's like, okay, I'll just have steak,
right.
and I'm the effect of whatever it is that she wants. It's a give and take world,
Mm-hmm.
but only I could make that decision for me. Nobody else can.
Right.
You know, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned over the last 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest lesson is that I used to think that I was like doing good things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I got this idea, this mission, and I'm marching on. And it's like I'm fighting for I'm going to take one for the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I have a whole bunch of history with that, good and bad. I mean, I've marched into crazy stuff and lost, and I've
Yeah.
marched into some crazy stuff and won.
Yeah.
I just did it just recently. Pete and I were talking about this morning. I just marched into a completely, I just committed to doing some stuff, and had I known what I was doing 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have made the decision. But here I am. I'm volunteering some time, and it's going to be a lot of work. Work I don't want. But I'm going to do it. The point is that you have to evaluate correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And now I try to do it with statistics. So I look at, okay, well, is my checkbook full? You know, for example, with you guys, people listen to this podcast. Like, we pay attention to which podcast you listen to. I pay attention to which emails you open. I pay attention to what you guys want, because I'm doing it. I'll talk about whatever. I'm cool with that. I'm here for an hour, no matter what. It's in my schedule, and I'm going to show up here.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is that you have to look at, what other people want.
Yeah.
What you're giving, does somebody else want it? And if you're making money, you have to find out, are they willing to give you exchange for it?
Right.
Like, for example, you guys are here. We talked about this last week, and you guys come every Thursday morning. We kill the whole morning.
Yeah.
Between the two podcasts, we do this podcast, and then we do a post show in the private group. And then we usually have some semblance of a staff meeting, so we can coordinate for the week. So by the time we leave here, it's lunchtime or 1 o'clock. You guys don't get paid to be here. I mean, I don't give you money.
Well, I thought we had to be here.
Yeah. The point is that you come here, and whatever you get when you come here is good enough exchange for your time.
Yeah,
Right.
this is valuable to us to be here
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because it helps us. But then I know it helps you, and then you help us. So it's
Right.
it's a vicious triangle.
The other thing too is helping anybody that might be listening to the podcast is pretty valuable as well.
Yeah, but
Because let's face it, it's a give and take universe.
right. So my point is it's cause and effect.
Yeah.
But you have to look at what are the results that you're producing. What outflow are you giving the world? And is it worthwhile that you'll receive the right inflow?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you pay attention to that, you know, it's just a marketing thing. It's like message to market match.
Right.
We talk about that all the time. I mean, if you match your message to your market, then you're gonna. I mean, if somebody's out there listening right now and they have a bad marketing campaign or they don't know what marketing is, that's their problem. They don't have a good message to market match. Either they have the wrong market, meaning the list they're mailing to, or the people they're talking to don't know their stuff, or they don't want it, or it's not valuable, or if they have the wrong lead magnet or whatever it may be, or the message that you're communicating isn't what they're thinking.
Right. It's not lining up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, suppose. I mean, we've kind of changed the podcast, and I don't know what that's going to do because we're testing it. But we're talking motivational stuff. We're going to talk in about 2 minutes. We're going to get into total. I'm going to lay out a system verbally that will make you money. I mean, it's just. I'm just going to go through it. Rat-a-tat-tat.
All right.
And it's just going to be. But the point is that there's no sense in me or you or Pete talking about this if it's going to fall into the abyss. Your considerations and your ideas and what you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? We keep talking about the difference between a novice and a pro. My definition is a novice doesn't know what information's important.
Right.
And
so
tries
it's
to save all of it.
Yeah.
And a pro knows what information is important and will do those things and get results.
Yep.
You notice the guys that are the busiest guys and the guys that have the most amount of money seem to like work less. It's because they know which levers and which buttons to push on the machine to spit out the money.
Yep.
You know, so they've waded through all the shaft.
Yeah.
Right? And they know which buttons and which levers to pull, and they get the results. But they're focused on the results. Just like what you're saying, you focus on the end turn, you know, coming out the other side of the turn.
Right.
Right? And what we're going to do in the next couple minutes is we're actually going to give you a system that I use, and we can give you a whole lot more information on this. There's some training to be done on it, which the course that I'm making is almost done, just because that's what I want to do. And you don't have to buy anything on this podcast. You don't have to buy anything in it at all. But my point is that what took me 14 years to learn, I could teach you in one day.
Wow.
And that, I think, I mean, I wish somebody would have done that with me when I started, because I could have saved a lot of money and a lot of aggravation.
Yeah.
You know, but the summation of the whole thing that we're talking about is if your mindset, if you're going to doubt what we're telling you, or if you're skeptical, or if you want to change the system, you won't make money. I mean, it's not that you're smart or Pete's smart or I'm smart. I mean, we have, I think, fairly decent IQs. I mean, I know I just tested mine, so I know what mine is. Okay, and that's not even the point.
Right.
The point is that what makes us smart is our observation skills and our ability to test things and see what they do. Put things in the physical environment and see what happens. You know what I mean? And just, you know, you drop that pebble in the water and then watch the wave and see where it goes.
Right.
You know, like what's the effect on the other side of the puddle? You know, and when you go over there and you experience that effect, you're like, oh, that didn't quite turn out the way I thought it was going to. You know? Or, wow, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Right?
But the thing is that you did something, that you did action, and that's...
Yeah, and what makes us different, and I think the only thing that makes us different is the three of us are just pirate and bums. You know, we're willing to have a lot of money or no money. We've been in both positions. At least I know both your stories.
Right.
Right? And we're willing to, like, fight for our cause.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different than a lot of people. I'm not saying that we're the only ones. There are people like us.
Yes.
But it's not the majority of population. Right? I mean, I've made a fortune and lost it twice. And I'm telling you that I'm here to talk about how I made the fortune and why I lost it, and give you that research and development as you talked about, so you don't have to do that.
Third time's the charm.
Yes, there you go. Except for in wives.
Right, then second time's the charm.
Hopefully she's not listening.
Yeah, with that it's completely
That's
different.
okay. She's number two.
There's a saying, like the first time is Actually, never mind. It's not
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the third time's just stupid. That's what you're going to get to.
That's correct.
No, I spoke to a woman once just to finish that. So, how you doing? Oh, I got this terrible husband. He's alcoholic and he beats me. Well, how many times have you been married? 3 times. Tell me about it. Well, the first one was alcoholic and beat me. The second was alcoholic and beat me. The third one was alcoholic and beat me. I said, you're on a roll? I don't know what to say to her. Just stop it. Let's see if you
Yeah.
can figure out why. Stop doing that.
It's kind of like humanity.
She's
you know.
proving that it's the right thing to do. I
Yeah,
keep doing it.
exactly.
I'll get it right one of these days.
It's
Stop.
habit, and it's again like what we were talking about. You focus on that, that's what you're going to get. And eventually you have to go, as you're walking down that road and you see that hole coming up in the road that's a pit that you can fall into. You keep walking, you fall into it, you get out, then you keep walking again. You see another pit, you fall into it. Well, eventually you hope that people look at it coming up, they know what's going to happen, and then go around the pit. But oddly enough, it's so familiar to people that familiar feels like right, and they confuse the two. And this feels right to me. No, it doesn't feel right. It feels familiar.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a real good point. All right, ready. So at this particular point, I would like to pause the podcast for about 30 seconds. A moment of silence. No. Let's pause the podcast because I want the listeners to I want them to pause their podcast because they're listening to this on a device. I want them to pause it. And I want them to get a piece of paper and a pencil because I am going to, with the two of you, hopefully just kind of, we don't make it too complex. We're going to make it real simple.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk about it a lot. What I'm saying, I just want to rattle the steps of what you should do to be successful, or at least this one way to get money. If you're looking to make $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 in the next 30 days, and you follow exactly what we're talking about, what we're going to give you right now, you will do it.
Yeah.
And if it's not 30 days, it'll be 60 days or 90 days, but it will happen. It really depends on you and, and what you do and how you do it. But I'm going to give you the steps. In other words, what I'm telling you is that if Naomi and I had to do this, or Pete and I had to do this, within 30 days we would have money.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we would do this. All right? So, should we go dead silence? That's not dead silence.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah,
10.
we should sing a song.
Oh, we should
boy.
sing our song.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't have my
She
guitar.
doesn't have it.
Oh, she'll
No.
acapella.
No, that's
She's
all
not
right.
shy. She wanted to sing it last night, Bill.
I wanted to, but he
Oh,
didn't
why
bring
didn't you
his
tell me that?
guitar.
Why didn't you tell me that? We could have done that.
Oh, she told me
I
around
know.
7:30.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's too
exactly.
late. That's too
Exactly. He needs his guitar.
Planning. Naomi's all in the planning.
Let's see.
Watch the curve.
All
Watch
right.
the curve.
So by now, we spent the 30
Killed
seconds.
30
We
seconds.
killed the 30 seconds.
Oh, get your piece of paper.
Get your paper and pencil. And if you don't have paper and pencil, I strongly recommend that you come back to this portion of the podcast and listen to it again and write it down. This is your checklist. You ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I was just checking on the
Yeah,
viewers.
checking the guys. Yeah, Naomi's looking
Everybody
to the
ready?
camera.
All right.
All right. So why don't you write them down so we keep track of them, please?
I just knew I needed to bring this piece of paper and pen.
Yes. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go onto Google and you're going to search for sale by owner in your area. So like we're in Wallingford, Connecticut, so I would put Wallingford, Connecticut, and then I would type for sale by owner. That's number one. Okay? What's going to come up when you do that is you're going to find that Zillow has dominated the industry. And Zillow, when we did it, actually, I don't even just do the town because it's not enough for me. So I just did all of Connecticut. And I think I came up with almost over 2,000 names. Okay? Now, Wallingford may, and you have to realize, I realized this last night when I was riding home. You have to realize that you have to do this every day because every day new for sale by owners get listed. Okay? Now, if you're like me and you're lazy, you could actually set up a Google alert. So just go to Google Alert, google.com/alert, or just type in the browser Google Alert, and you can actually set up an alert every time a for sale by owner comes on the internet. It sends you an email, so you don't have to go searching every day. Okay, so just you could set up a Google alert.
Write that down for me.
No.
I need to copy this later.
No.
All right, so the first thing you're going to do is go in and type in for sale by owner and your city or your county or your wherever
Or the
you're gonna
city
do
they
business.
want to buy houses in.
Yeah.
Right.
If they live in a
Right.
bad spot, wherever they want to sell.
I suggest, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of podcast people that are all over the world that listen to us, especially UK, because I'm getting a lot of UK. I don't know how it's set up there, but I know in the United States we have a town or a city, and then we have like a county, and then we have a state. So like we're in Wallingford, New Haven County, in the state of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually try to segment my leads to New Haven County. So New Haven County would encompass multiple cities, like it's Wallingford, it's North Haven, East Haven, West Haven, Hamden, Cheshire, Meriden. You know, so there's multiple, and they're not necessarily cities. They're what would you call them, Naomi?
Towns.
Yeah.
Communities.
Like Wallingford, I think there's 40-something thousand people that live here. You know, so that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get 20 or 30 FSBOs a day in just Wallingford. Okay?
Mhm.
But you don't need that many.
No, if you send around your county, it's within driving distance, too. That's the point. It's
Yeah.
10, 20, 30 minutes, and you're there.
Well, here it is. I just don't know in some other places.
Mhm.
You know, like Texas, it may not be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, everything's big in Texas.
Mhm.
Right? So, all right, so that's number one. So you go and you find a for sale by owner.
Mm-hmm.
What I suggest you do is put some parameters on this. Get around 12. Around 12 names and phone numbers. Okay? So we don't, because some people will go off and get 200 and some will go off and
Right.
get 3. Somewhere around 12 names to start. Just the first time. Right? Then, step 2.
Step 2.
You're going to go to flippinghouses.club/FSBO script. FSBO is for sale by owner. It's an acronym. So it's FSBO script. So it's flippinghouses.club/FSBO script. And you're going to download the script we use. Naomi's giving me the evil eye. Bill, what are you doing? Go ahead. She's not even going to
Continue
talk.
on.
She's not even going to
Continue
talk.
on.
Boy, I could tell.
We're going to be quiet.
This is going to be a rough staff meeting after this one.
The bad part is when they don't talk.
That's right.
You
That's why I'm
know.
asking you.
What are you
know.
kids doing in that room? You're too quiet. What are you kids doing back there?
I wasn't thinking kids. I was thinking
Yeah,
women.
women.
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an ex-wife. I got a new wife. I got 2 sisters, 2 daughters, and Naomi.
Bill, hope is around the corner. You're getting your grandson.
Yes.
Hope is around the corner,
That's,
Bill.
you're right,
You
Peter.
will be
Is
saved.
Jesse on, Emma?
Yeah, she was.
Emma, is
Yeah.
Jesse on?
Well, she was.
Is she? Did
Hi,
you hear
Jesse.
that, Jess? Huh? I have hope. Huh? Jesse's my daughter. She's on Facebook watching us. She's 7 months? How many? 7 months? And she's carrying my first grandchild, which happens to be a boy. Yeah. He's already named, Pete. They call him Max.
Well, he's there.
Yeah. My son-in-law
That's a
has
good
some crazy ideas about his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maxwell Smart and all that
Oh,
kind of
really?
stuff.
Is that
Yeah.
where it came from? Things like
Ah.
that?
There's
yeah.
other very famous Maxes, I think. Like, authored
wants
some
to
good
name him
books.
Maxwell Aaron, after Aaron Judge, the baseball player.
Yes.
And also so that his initials will be M-A-D, because their last name is DePonte. So he will be Mad Max.
Imagine having to explain that to that kid when he's 30 years old.
Oh, it won't be that long. I spelled my kid's name Michael, a kind of a strange spelling, And it's been a little problem his whole life. Sorry, kid.
Wow.
And I don't mean to be
Maxwell
laughing.
Aaron
And
is still a normal name. It's not like Emma Lee or Jesse Ray.
easy.
Like our
Y'all.
parents named
Easy.
us without
Easy.
middle names.
Y'all.
With hyphens in them that
Yeah,
aren't
she was
used
from
on
down south.
standardized tests. Can you tell us as a rant?
Funny.
Can you tell us what?
It's a rant.
Oh, this is a
It-
rant.
it is
yeah.
a rant. Wow, Emma,
We're on
I'm
step
like-
2.
Emma, you can change your name.
All right, let's get back to the steps.
Go.
So this is exactly
What
what I
happened?
wanted to do because we're going to run out of time.
All right.
So step
Two.
Step 2 is
Go to flippinghouses.club/FISBO script.
FISBO script.
Bill, do the podcasts have fast forward? Just in case.
Yes.
They do, right? I do.
So that's pretty simple. What's
tell-
step 3?
Tell Naomi is totally not on board with this. That's why we don't talk about the podcast before we do them. Step 3.
Download the script.
Download. Well, yeah, you're going to download the script. So step 3 is find a friend or a relative, a.k.a. another human being,
Find
A humanoid
another humanoid,
or an AI, intelligent android.
and sit in front of that human being and role play, talking to them as if they were the client on the other phone.
Or if you can't find another human being, you can role play in front of the mirror.
Oh,
It's also quite effective.
okay.
But a human being
At least you
is-
didn't say the hamster.
a
That's a good idea.
A
Yeah,
hamster
you could do-
will work
you
if
could
you
do-
visualize that person,
Yeah.
that hamster as a person.
Yeah,
So
I would
mirror
even
would good.
I would even call them on the phone to practice having the phone here and the paper there and where you're writing your notes, just to actually get a setup. Because I have,
Okay.
like, when I do it, I have something here, I got the phone, I got something to write, and you have to, like, figure that out. Like, you can't be mumbling.
Right. So
You
I'm
can
going
do
to
it
scratch
live, you
off
can call 'em.
this other stuff, and I'm finding a humanoid / intelligence / hamster / mirror, and I'm just going to write 2 words:
Yeah,
role play,
yeah. So just get comfortable with the script, okay?
and that is role play as in practicing the script,
Right.
like Bill said, not another kind of role play.
Right.
Step 3
So step 3 is you're going to make a phone call to a for sale by owner.
or step
No,
4.
I'm sorry,
4.
step 4.
This is why women are the
Yeah,
ones that write things
exactly.
down. They keep things online.
You
You
think-
men are like,
You think that I
That's
have all
why he
these
asked you
women-
to do it. He knew.
You think I got all these women around me by accident? No, it keeps me organized, man. I could not be where I am without women. I promise you that. They keep me totally on track.
so true.
Step 4. Step 4. That was chauvinistic. Sorry. Step 4, but it's true.
It's not derogatory
they're just
chauvinistic.
better than
I
us, Bill.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for all the girls around me, I would not have
No.
half of what I have.
I was actually thinking about this deeply, and I don't want to get into this too much, but I was thinking about what would the world be like if there were no women, and I think that it would be kind of like the caveman
Yes.
sort of.
I don't think we
by
could
and
have a
large.
world after about
Yeah.
80 years.
Yeah. Because we'd stop having babies and we wouldn't grow.
But I mean, what if there was some sort of scientific way to whatever? Okay, step
Ew.
4,
Step 4. What was step 3?
role play.
Oh,
You're
role
on
play.
call the physical.
Step 4. Call the 12 people that you found the leads for.
Call. And it's
Okay.
pretty simple. People like to talk to people that want to
Right.
maybe.
Step 5. That's right. People like to talk. Step 5.
Well, they're trying to sell a house, so they'll be glad you called. Don't think
They'll be- yeah.
you're not bothering them. They go, oh, good, somebody's calling about the house. You're not bothering them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They want phone calls. That's why they put their phone number on.
Yeah, they're advertising.
They want
Duh.
photos
They
anyway.
want phone calls. Step 5. You need to figure out who, out of the 12 people, who is willing to talk to or accept a terms deal. And a terms deal means that they're willing to accept their payment, their full amount of money in the future, like in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. So they're willing to wait for all of the money and allow you to pay them monthly to use the property. So a terms deal simply means that they're willing to wait for their full payment and allow you to pay them rent or lease or whatever while they wait. AKA, it's kind of like they're willing to let you rent to own. Okay. So, in our business, we call that the opening call. Right. So we have three parts of the business. We have the opening call, we have the closing call, and we have the deal meeting. And that's what we're doing here. So we've just completed the opening call. The purpose of the opening call is nothing more or nothing less than to whack the suspects. That's the purpose of the opening call. It's not to find prospects. It's to whack the suspects.
Exactly.
Because suspects will chew you up, eat you up. They'll kill your dreams. They'll make you think you're crazy. They'll do all kinds of stuff to make you think you're nuts.
I had a long conversation yesterday with a opening client, opening caller / coaching client, and exactly what you were talking about. The individual was trying to force everybody into seeing the light. I said, no, don't try and. You're looking to find that person that's willing to work with you. Don't
That's
try
a good
and
way
force
to put it, Naomi.
people.
Yeah.
So you don't have to change their mind. If their mind is already
Right.
headed in the right direction, we want to keep going with them.
Exactly.
And that's a great way to put
Exactly.
it. So my sales analogy, because we used to talk about this when I was selling all the time, is if there's a pilot light, turn on the gas.
Exactly.
If there's a little flame there, just pour on the gasoline.
Exactly. But if there's nothing, don't sit there
Don't try to light the pilot.
arbitering for 4 weeks after I've already told the individual it's a dead flame, and now the individual is just irate. The suspect
Right.
is like, no, you know.
Right.
So
So the purpose of the opening call, and I usually try to do this with two people. Now, you don't have to do this, but it works better with two people. So you have one person that's the opening caller, and they call and they use the script, and all they are to do is to just whack the suspects.
yeah.
And if there's just a little glimmer of a light or a spark, then you turn that over to the closing caller.
Right.
Okay? So that's, what step are we on?
We are on step number 6.
So step number 6 is to turn over the lead to the closing caller. Now you can do this yourself all in one step if you have both scripts. I prefer you don't. It works better with two people.
But if it's just you, it's okay to say, let me call you back, let me look it over, and take some time to sort it out in your head. If you're new to this, you probably need a few minutes to sort it out, look up the house.
The best thing you could do is, let me talk to my wife, let me talk to my husband, let me talk to my partner. I'm going to come up with some good offers, and I'm going to call you back.
Or you can even say, let me just number crunch on this. I want to, I'm going to do some research.
Let me do some due diligence.
Exactly.
And then I'll call
Give
you back.
them a call back.
So what you need to do is, when you tell them that, is tell them you're going to call back with an offer. Because what every person selling a house wants is an offer.
Yeah.
They don't want to sell the house. Sounds foolish. They want an offer first. Because if Peter has a house for $200,000 and I want to give him $100,000, does he want to sell it?
No, but I want to know what I know what you're going to say. I want to know what the next guy says, and the next guy after that, and see what the best numbers are. I want to see what happens.
So he's looking for the bids or the offers.
Right. To get a conversation going.
Right. So the first thing he wants is, well, Bill doesn't. Bill wants to give me $100,000. I'm not ready to do that. So I'll just poke around for a few more offers. And they don't even know they're doing this, but you need to tell them that you will, like you said, do your due diligence. Or I need to talk to my wife or my partner, and I will call you back with an offer. It should be that way. I will call you back with an offer. Okay.
Yep.
Step number 7. Call them back with the offer. Yeah, well, hey, I told you I was going to make it simple. Here's the offer. This is the part where most people will be like, here's the offer. Ready? How much would you like for your house? Let's role play it. You and I.
All right.
Real quick. We don't have much time. We got 5 more minutes.
Go for it.
Okay.
Who are you?
I'll be Bill, the deal maker.
Okay.
So, hey, Naomi, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. I crunched some numbers, and I have an offer for your house. You ready?
Okay.
Good. How much were you asking for the property?
$200,000.
Okay. If I give you $200,000, here's what I can do.
Okay. Let's hear.
How much did you say your mortgage payment was?
It's about, I don't know exactly, but it's around $14,000 or $1,400. Sorry,
$1,400 a month.
$1,400 a month. Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to give you that as a payment every month,
Okay.
and I'm going to go find my buyer,
Okay.
and we're going to give you the $200,000. I'm going to actually rent from you until my buyer's going to rent from you until they can actually get a favorable mortgage,
Right.
and when they do, we're going to get you your $200,000. And you're not being a landlord, because the way I'm going to sell it is you're actually going to become the bank,
Okay.
right? So they're not going to call you with dirty toilets and grass, and if they do, they're going to call me anyways. They don't even know who you are, right?
Well, gosh, and I never thought about that.
Good. All right, so here's the deal. I haven't seen the house yet. So if you're open to my idea, why don't I come out, take a look at the house,
Okay.
make sure that the house qualifies,
Okay.
and then while I'm there, if we agree, we can do some paperwork.
Okay. I'm sure I'll have more questions for you
Yeah.
at that time. But
Totally.
yeah, let's chat.
All right, so thank you. So honest to God, and this is the part where I know, I ad-libbed it. We actually have scripts for this stuff.
Yes.
Honest to God, oh my goodness, I don't even know how to say this. It is literally that simple. It is literally that simple. When it's not that simple, you have a suspect.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to be pulling out wicked sales skills
Nope.
on a prospect.
Right.
No. The last two houses we bought, I knew from the moment we started addressing them, those are deals.
Yeah.
You could tell they were motivated.
Yeah.
They had a short amount of time. They had some problem. We knew we could solve it.
Right.
If we can't solve that, I quit. And we bought two houses
Right.
just 2 weeks ago.
It's just you can just tell. I mean, it does take presentation skills.
Yeah,
You know.
for the negotiating to get the right numbers and all that. But can't you tell after all the
Yeah.
calls you've done? When
Oh, yeah.
like this is a good one. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, because
Oh yeah, you know
they have a
right
problem.
away.
They're not solving it. They're
Yeah.
stuck, and we know we can help them.
Yeah.
And they're great. Like we got the success story.
Yeah.
We can read that anytime you want, right here.
Exactly. And the other thing too,
They're so happy.
with the scripts, it's so simple. I mean, don't try and reinvent the wheel. It's all right there. Like I mentioned, it does take some presentation skills. There's the presentation skills,
Right.
the scripts, and the role play.
Well,
So again, it's all lined out.
In the course that I'm laying out, I asked this question. If you had a prospect that was trying to sell you a piece of property,
Yeah.
and you could invite me into their living room and do a
Mm.
presentation for you, would you do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, that's the script.
That's the script, exactly.
It's me doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So what number was that?
We're at number 8. So
Well-
number 7 was call back with the offer.
Call and make the offer.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 8, is it 8 you said?
Number 8.
Yeah, so 8 is the deal meeting. So by the way, that call we just made was the closing call, which on the closing call, the purpose of the closing call is to work out the deal, structure the deal into details. So we're going to make sure that we have the numbers, that we can, we know how much they want, what they're going to pay, all that kind of stuff. So we work out the deal.
And you should make an appointment to see the house very quickly, right?
Right. As soon as you're done with the end of the closing call is an appointment if you want to go look at the house.
And it shouldn't be next week, should it?
No. And when I make appointments, I say, can we meet tomorrow at 10 or Thursday at 2?
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah,
Make
it's
the
one or
deal.
two. Yeah. So then number 8 is actually
The meeting.
the deal meeting. Now the deal meeting is nothing more or nothing less than going out to look at the house to make sure the house qualifies, because they qualify already, because we've talked to them and they're motivated. They're already qualified. They're willing
Right.
to. They're flexible. They're willing
Yeah.
to listen to us. Okay. And then once you go out to the house, there's two things you got to take a look at. One, you got to make sure that their number is not like some hyper number, like a
500,000 for a 300,000.
we've done
Yeah,
that
we've done that.
too many times. So first thing you're going to do is make sure that the neighborhood warrants it. When you're driving to the house, you're going to observe all the neighborhood and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then make sure the house is not dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And dysfunctional means that you got to walk through bedrooms to get the bathrooms, and
Right.
that the kitchen's not like in the basement. I looked at a house the other day like that. The kitchen was actually in the basement, wasn't on the
Really?
first floor. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
No, that's an
MLS
Italian kitchen, but you're supposed to have a really nice one upstairs that you don't use.
There wasn't one.
That's wrong.
It was a living room. They took the kitchen out. Or, things like there's not like a helicopter pad on the roof or something like that. So dysfunctional just means
That
just
might
that.
be an advantage.
Yeah, dysfunctional means that it would be way too much to rearrange the floor plan, or it's not physically possible to rearrange the floor plan without ripping the whole house down and making a big deal out of it.
Right.
So dysfunctional means just that, because there's only two reasons why houses don't sell. Number one is they're too expensive and they're overpriced, or two, they're dysfunctional.
Yeah.
There's only two reasons why a house doesn't sell. Okay, what number are we on?
Number 9.
Number 9 is so we're at the deal. We're at the meeting and we're going to make the deal and we're going to look at the house. Number 9 is to sign the documents, which is actually in the deal meeting. So what you're going to sign is a lease with an option to agree. An option to purchase. I get asked all the time, how do I find those documents? You have to either buy the course or get in my coaching to do that, or
You're
can
doing a
just
seminar soon that completely covers it.
February
No?
24th
Yeah.
in Wallingford. We're going to do a
Like
seminar. We're going to actually live stream it. So if you're not from Connecticut, we're going to make it so that you could be part of the seminar.
But Bill, don't we drive and fly thousands of miles to go to seminars?
Not anymore.
Well, this year we did.
Yeah, we did.
We
yeah.
did. So what's the furthest people come to our meetups and our meetings and our workshops?
A guy from Tennessee. I don't know what happened to him, but he came from Tennessee once.
Tennessee, out of state,
Wow.
people from New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, come to Connecticut.
They
So
drive hours to come to the meetup.
Yeah,
because
they
they give
do.
so much away.
if you're anywhere nearby, just show up.
Yeah.
So it's February 24th, 2018. We're going to do a live seminar where I'm going to show you how to do all this. Anyways, so we're going to sign. So anyways, what I'm saying is that it's at least one option.
Yeah.
You find the right guy, the right attorney, and you could get those agreements. Okay, they're not impossible. They're not made up. They're not some, hidden standard or anything like that. You just find a good lease with an option, and you can sign it.
Right.
It may not be as good as ours, but at least it's something.
Right.
Okay. All right. Number 10.
All right. Number 10.
You go find a buyer that's willing to pay you more for the rent and more for the option than what you paid.
We paid about $100 for the option.
We paid $100 to consummate the deal for the option. But that's not even the point. So if we had a $100,000 house and the option agreement is for $60,000, we need to go find somebody that's willing to pay more than $60,000 to have that option agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're paying $500 a month for a rent, find somebody that's willing to pay more than $500 a month for rent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a $100,000 house, right, and you paid and you got option agreement for $60,000 with a $500 a month payment, if I sold it for $90,000 with a $900 a month payment, I'd be positive cash flow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the magic: if I were to sell it for $90,000 and I gave the buyer time to get their mortgage but live in the house, they would need to give me a down payment. So is it feasible that somebody that's buying a $90,000 house would give me $3,000 down?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is that $3,000 for? It's to buy the option
Right.
that I paid $100 for.
That piece of paper that, yeah.
So I paid $100 for the option agreement. They're paying me $3,000. That $3,000 comes out of my profit, so I just accelerated it now. So I'm going to have $3,000 of my $30,000, because 60 minus 90 is 30,000 profit, because we paid 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got 90. So we got a $30,000 profit on the come, or it's going to come later,
Right.
right? But we're going to get $3,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Plus, we're going to have $400 a month positive cash flow, which is $4,800 a year.
So it wouldn't be bad to wait for that kind of money to come around.
So in a 2-year period, we're going to make
About 10,000?
$10,000 on the rent.
Yeah.
I did that wrong last night, didn't I?
A
Should've
little bit. Yeah,
should've
I
told
did.
me
I
that.
did notice that, but
should've told me that.
people knew what they were talking about.
So you're going to make $10,000 on the positive cash flow, plus you made $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
In a 2-year period, you made $40,000,
Mm-hmm.
and all you invested was $100. The deed doesn't go in your name. The option agreement you can back out anytime you want. You just lose $100. And there's no risk.
Mm-hmm.
So number 10 is...
Find a buyer that's willing to pay you more than what you paid.
Right. So number 11 is do the same thing with your buyer you did with your seller. Sign a lease and an option with the buyer. Sometimes you'll do it to you. Sometimes you'll do it to the seller. It doesn't matter. That's another time, another conversation. But you're going to sign a lease with an option to purchase with your buyer and collect a deposit
Or the option fee.
for the option.
Might be more,
Yeah.
collect that.
And then number 12,
Number 12.
spend your money. Celebrate.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I've simplified it, but those are the steps. Okay? And
She capitalizes.
yeah, spend the money.
Just capitalize that one. And for $5.95, you could get copies of Naomi's notes.
Yeah, no.
And the 12 lists?
No.
No.
I think it's worth more than $5.95.
No, handwritten.
Yeah, if they got this original.
Actually, you know what, Peter? You know what? I will do that. I'm going to give it to him for free. You know what we're going to do? Is I'm going to have Emma scan that, and I'll upload it to my Box account, and I'll take the link from the Box account, and I'll put it in the chat as soon as we're done with the show. Can we do that, Emma? Yeah.
You know-
You want to do with all? You're going to rewrite it, Naomi. You're going to leave us all your scratches.
No. This is
We're gonna-
this is good.
we'll
All
do that.
the
We'll
bad
scan-
and the good.
We'll scan the document. We'll upload it to my I use Box.net as a cloud base. We'll upload it, get a link, and I'll have Emma come back after the show, and we'll put in this show. We'll put the link so you can download it. We'll do that.
You know, not to brag or anything. I sound so like Bill right now,
There we
don't I?
go, yeah.
Not to brag,
But
but which negates the earlier thing, meaning
Right.
I am.
bragging.
erase everything that I just said.
I am an award-winning artist. So, folks, this is art.
Oh boy.
Naomi, are you going to sign it?
I'm not going to sign it.
Come on, you have to sign it.
Unless they're going to pay me money.
The way you sign it is Naomi for Bill.
Naomi.
Bill, it's Bill.
You know what you can do?
$100 bill.
You know what you can do? On
Type
the
by.
bottom, put the website address so they can go and find us. FlippingHousesForRookies.com, which, by the way, we have a new website.
The deal
Maker.
Maker.
There you go. So we're going to end off.
$100 bill.
$100 bill. No, it's Naomi. It's not $100
See, the
bill.
website is right here, flippinghouses.club.
You got it.
No.
Oh, wait,
We have a new website. We added another website that's not as complex as FlippingHouses.club.
Thank God.
So it's FlippingHousesForRookies.com. FlippingHousesForRookies.com. And it's not 100% complete, but you can go there and poke around. There's a few things on there you might enjoy. It's a lot easier to use, a lot easier to navigate. So it's FlippingHousesForRookies.com. Okay, so we're going to, I think we fulfilled. People who listen to this podcast will end up with money. In the beginning of the show, we talked about the the description for the show was the definition of success is doing things that work. Do these things work, Naomi?
These things work.
Okay. Listen,
After 14 years, they
better work, right?
better work.
Listen to this podcast to learn what it took myself and my team 14 years to learn, then use those successes to make money yourself for a $100 deposit, no risk, and no surprises.
Pretty
So enjoy
simple.
it. So come back after the podcast. I know that you should save this video, I guess, on Facebook. Come back after the podcast, and I will have Emma upload the link. We will scan the document that Naomi wrote, and we'll put a link on there, and you guys can go check it out. You can see how we actually do things around here. All right. Thanks for listening to the show. It's a little bit longer today, but I think it was well worth it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.